Hey, I'm Geoff Rhyne. I'm a sustainably focused chef of Red Clay.
And I'm Molly Fienning, CEO, and we are Red Clay Hot Sauce.
I was working in a high-end oyster bar when I started making hot sauces. And the kind of funny part of the story is we would put these little mini bottles of hot sauce on the table, and folks would come in and spend a couple $100s on a meal, but then they would steal the hot sauce off the table. So at that moment, it was kind of a light bulb went off that I might have something special here. And what I wanted to do was create something that was different than what was on the market. And so everybody that was making hot sauces was trying to make the hottest thing possible. And as a chef, you want to make things delicious first and foremost. And so what we wanted to do is be ingredient focused, make something delicious, make it super approachable, and not kind of overpower the flavors that you're pairing it with.
And Red Clay is rooted in Charleston, South Carolina, where Geoff is a chef at the oyster bar here in town. And my husband and I were literally customers at this oyster bar and tried the original, which he made to pair with oysters. And it was so dang good. And I wasn't even a hot sauce person at the time. I knew I had to help Geoff some way bring this product to market. And it really grew as sort of a cult Charleston hot sauce for the first few years. Cut to now 6 years later, and we've expanded from the original to 4 or 5 sauces and 3 hot honeys. Food and Wine magazine actually named us Tabasco for the 21st century, and the New York Times called us a hot honey to elevate your meal. So lots of great buzz, and we're so excited for the momentum. So the 5 things that I think really differentiate Red Clay from other brands on the shelf are: number 1, we are barrel aged and fermented. Number 2, we are cold pressed. We're the only cold pressed hot sauce on the shelf. Number 3, the only 100% raw hot honey on the shelf. Number 4, we are flavor forward, driven by a chef, so it's all about flavor as opposed to heat. And then 5, rooted in the South and really focused on bringing kind of the Southern values of family and community and sharing a delicious meal together. I think when he first told me about how he made this original sauce and decided to barrel age it, he mentioned the wine industry and how you think about the developing of the flavor profiles of a beautiful bottle of wine by aging it in oak. And in the South, we drink bourbon. And so we chose to age in bourbon barrels instead to sort of get that interesting depth of flavor and some woodsy notes in the sauces. And a byproduct of that actually means that we leave it raw and it becomes a fermented live probiotic through the aging process. And so you get all these wonderful health benefits of digestive and immunity boosting and all the benefits of fermentation in addition to the delicious flavor profile.
Once you do the fermentation and barrel aging, the last thing you would want to do is cook out those nuances. And so once you kind of like start with the end goal and then reverse engineer why you're doing what you're doing, we ferment to develop the flavor profile and create this kind of funky umami flavor. And then the next step of cold pressing is, okay, how do we then take what we've developed and honor it and lift it up and really just push it forward? And if you were to cook it, you would eliminate all of that, right? You make this kind of single kind of flavor profile, all the nuance is lost. And so what we wanted to do is develop a method that we could preserve that. So we have a preserved ingredient, we want to preserve the flavor. And so that's where the cold pressing came into play. And the best way to kind of associate that is to look at cold pressed olive oils versus kind of just off the shelf olive oil. And there's a clear difference in the flavors of those. There's a clear quality difference. And so we kind of take cues from different industries. Molly referenced the wine industry. We talk about the olive oil industry, and we apply those things into crafting a hot sauce.
I think what was so cool about Red Clay is it's really about flavor forward and honoring the beautiful local peppers that we grew here in the South. And so, with chef's background, it's a great mix of sweet meets salty, meets the heat from the peppers, and the umami from the barrel aging process that we do. And so it's a really more of a kind of complex flavor forward sauce than a traditional true hot sauce.
We try to craft the nuance of the pepper, pull out the sweetness, the smokiness, the different nuances that are available to it, and then heighten it up that ultimately that product will pair well with your food. And so that kind of mentality is unique to kind of a chef's mindset that's had training for 20, 30 years.
And as a result, we can stay true to our values and keep the quality of our beautiful sauces high.
we put a lot of emphasis on sourcing 100% raw honey. Our honey comes from South Georgia, and just the fact that the ecosystem is very unique down there, when you have a natural product that isn't manipulated by any other false ingredients like corn syrup or some of the other things that people use to cut honey with, you actually taste the ecosystem that your honey comes from. And so it also has obviously health benefits, but the bees and what they're feeding on and what they're pulling from is what allows our honey to be so unique.
And I think what's really exciting about hot honey as a category is it's so new and there are so few players in this space. You have a lot of hot sauces. Everyone knows their favorite hot sauce. And red clay is different because it's cold pressed, because it's fermented. But hot honey, there are only 3 or 4 brands out there right now. And ours is the only 100% raw one. And in my mind, the most delicious, sort of highest quality hot honey there is. Well, we are so grateful to be partnering with you and to be able to share our brand and our beautiful products with you guys.
It's a great opportunity. I feel like we have a lot of brand values that co-align, and growing up in South Georgia and visiting those farms put a kind of an indelible mark on me. And so we say that the red clay changes you, and I know it's changed me, and I hope it changes you guys too.
Thanks.